Hello, I wanted to give you a little help with understanding Arizona's watersheds and watershed project. So I thought I'd go over a few things. When we began this project, we started talking about how natural divisions between water are found. And you can see one here. Let me draw that line again just in another color just to highlight it a little better. And I'm trying to be as careful as possible. This is a natural divide, so it's where these lines don't cross. Another way to think of these lines is each line is a separate stream. And they start at that red line and flow downhill and merge together to form larger streams. So you can see how these are all coming together. They're all flowing this way, away from that line. And then on the other side of the line, you have the same thing happening, except they're flowing in a different direction. That's why the waters are being divided. That's how we know it's called a divide. Okay, so the waters are flowing in a different direction. You can see the same sort of thing happening on maps, and we've sketched this out before, so you can see here's some streams that are coming together and flowing together. And you can also see some streams don't meet, they just start in one place. That's the headwaters where they start. I'm not going to draw them all, we've done this together before. All right, so I've highlighted most of these streams and in red, not all of them, but I got most of them. And if you were to draw a line that separates these streams from the other streams, you can see it would come around something like this. Just carefully coming around and capturing just those streams that are separated from other streams. Just like that. Then I asked you to draw in the main stream that's in a different color. So I picked blue. And this is the main stream. This happens to be the little Colorado River. Comes around here. You can see it follows some roads parallel the river, others don't. And I messed up a little bit there in mapping this river, but it flows all the way into the Colorado River. Okay? And this is the example we had of the same watershed that we did together in class. So you can see how it follows these lines, and if we turn the picture off, it looks a little more like this. So each of these red lines is a different river, and then the thicker the line they all connect into is the main river. This is a map of Arizona showing the different watersheds, including the Little Colorado River Basin, which we just mapped, Verde River Basin, San Juan River Basin, or Salt River Basin, sorry, Gila River Basin, Lower Gila River, Santa Cruz. These are the main primary rivers that you'll find in Arizona. I'd like you to pick one of those rivers to map onto the map that I've given you. This is the Granite Creek watershed that we watched a short film on it where we looked at a sculpture and it showed how these blue lines all flowed away from this red line. So these blue lines, again, are different creeks and rivers that flow into these lakes and then on out through Granite Creek. And the red line represents the mountains that separate the watershed. So in this picture, you can see for a fictional town called Griffin, how the streams flow downhill away from the mountains and away. There are other streams on the other side of the mountain, so you can't see. But this is where the red line would be. So I went ahead and outlined it in red and blue. to give you an idea of what the streams look like. They're in blue, and then the watershed boundary or the mountains that surround the watershed are in red. So let's go ahead and go over the project real quick. It's called Arizona Watersheds Project. Google the 7 largest rivers in Arizona and pick one of those, but don't use the Colorado River. Okay. Let me just check them off as we talk about them. So the first thing you want to do is label the main river and figure out the name and the headwaters and mouth. If you don't know what those are, go ahead and Google them for that river. Draw the tributaries. Those are the rivers, the smaller rivers that flow into the big river, and make sure they're a different color from the main river. Label any reservoirs. Those are artificial lakes or dams on the map, and include a tag for the map explaining the uses of the reservoirs. Using Google Slides, create, and I'll show you how to do this, one slide with at least 7 pictures, or more if you want, from your watershed. These are pictures, not maps. These are going to be printed and glued onto your map. Make sure you include a reference for each picture. And then label any major towns or cities along the watershed and name the watershed itself. There is a part 2, and complete these for your map as well. So you want to include these 3 things with your map: the Central Arizona Project, the Salt River Project, and the Gila River Project. Make sure you have labels for each one. So just a label showing where they're found. Also include the Grand Canyon. And then design a label to be printed and added to your map for the major towns and cities in your watershed. Finally, identify the mountains in your watershed. So just maybe make a symbol up. You don't have to name them. You could just have a little red triangle or something if you want. Something that tells people there's a mountain there. And then draw and label the Arizona Divide. The Arizona Divide is really kind of a cool idea. I want you to learn a little bit about it. Okay? And that pretty much sums up your project. I'll show you how to use Google Slides next to create what you need to print out and label on your map. All right, so I have a Google Slideshow set up already, and you can see I can move these pictures around. If I select the picture and the label, then I can do something called grouping. So let's see. You see where it says group? If I group them, then they'll move together. If I want to add a picture, let's say I want to add a picture of the mouth of the little Colorado River as it enters the Colorado. You find the image you want, copy the image address. So you'll get a menu that says copy the image address, then go back to your slides, and where it says insert image, go by URL. The website address is called a URL, and then Control V, paste that in there, and then click insert. And you see I'm added another picture. I can then use a text box, and I don't want to cover up the best part of the picture. You also want to fill this text box, probably with the color white, and then type in a number 3, mouth of the little Colorado. And then it's not fitting, so that means you can just like stretch it out and make it fit, just like that. Oops, it's misspelled. Mouth of Little Colorado. And then again, you don't want to cover that up, so you want to move this somewhere that's not going to be in the way. All right, now for references. So you can see the other 2 pictures already have references for, so I can just hit enter, type in the number 3. And because I just copied the URL, I can just paste it on in there. And so there I have it. If it's starting to fill up, the easiest thing to do is to just reduce the font size a little bit, and they'll all fit onto the page a little better. Okay. Now for making labels, there's a lot of good ways to do this. You can see I've done some different things here. I'm going to go and push these out of the way. I think I'll just delete that one. I'll just push it out of the way. So to make a label, you want to use a shape, then go to callouts, At least this is one way to do it. And in callouts, you can pick a callout of a certain shape. You can write your information into the label, and then I like to use it to point things out. So you can drag that around to point things out. You'll see that this one has a nice thick black line. So to change that, you use this little line feature, and it lets you pick a different line. You can change the font around and things like that. Have fun with it. If you're going to use any other tools, so if you go to Insert Shapes and go to Arrows, or a box like that, you can't drag the pointer around. You can change the width of the arrow and that kind of stuff, but you can't really drag the thing around, so it's not quite as good as to use to point things out on the map. Okay, hopefully that helps a little bit. I really don't think you need more than 3 slides for your project. So you can see I have 3 slides. If you need more, let me know. But if you're efficient with space, you should be able to come up with just using 3 slides. And then we'll print them off. You can cut them out and glue them on your map. I hope this helps. Sorry if the video is a little long, but I had a lot to talk about. All right, thanks.